So since launching your Nacelle Power PWA, have there been any big notable metrics or observations since launch? And what goals do you think this build helped you achieve?
Yeah, I mean, clearly our site is monumentally faster than it used to be. Um, there's no doubt about that on every device. Anyone we talk to, we're like, hey, we went headless. They're like, wow, your site is really fast. That's always the feedback that we're getting. It's so fast. And as we all know, site speed, conversion rates, they're tied. We are seeing our conversion rates going up. But some of the, I guess, unplanned for return on investment was on the development side. My team has been able to be way more efficient. Our velocity in creating new features and being able to build awesome stuff has increased dramatically. I mean, to put it in perspective, we've had features that we launched previously on the Shopify Liquid, framework that took, months to build, whereas we kind of rebuilt our whole site in 4 months, so from scratch. So I think that really kind of puts it into a good light there. And as we've talked about too, I've done other headless builds on lots of different solutions and frameworks, and I've had some that took as long as a year and a half. So being able to start from scratch and to build something in 4 months was just awesome, and the amount of flexibility was just huge. As far as future goals that Nacelle is going to definitely enable us to do, it's going to keep helping us improve our site speed. This is kind of a daily thing that we're looking at, and it's changed the way that the business looks at our site, and how we track conversion rates and things like that. All those questions come up. Well, what's the impact to our performance going to be? So I've really enjoyed that conversation being more open internally, which before it's kind of like, well, our site's already slow, so what's the point? Whereas now anything we add has the possibility of impacting that performance, and we work so hard to get it to where it's at. We don't want it to jeopardize it in any way. So that's been a really great thing for me as a developer and as a manager to kind of balance that between the ask and the need.
Yeah, the developer efficiency is such an interesting question. I mean, what do you attribute that to? And I've heard things like, well, we could work locally, we can use a Git workflow of some sort. We some merchants are implementing a full-blown CI/CD pipeline with testing built into it. Any comments on that? Like, is that part of the developer efficiency here?
Absolutely, yeah. All those, I mean, with Nacelle, you get to use all of your favorite buzzwords and goodies and tools. Like there's nothing you can't do with it, which is fantastic. In our case, it seems so silly, but one of the biggest gains that we saw was just we spent so much time on our previous code base just waiting for it to upload to Shopify and the theme, waiting for it to deploy, waiting to see what happens when we do this, because the Slate development process is it doesn't really pass the sniff test either. And so it just being able to work in a really modern flow with these tools was huge. So we found a lot of performance enhancements just in our team that way.
Yeah, like git branch, git push is pretty quick, right?
Yeah, and the branch deploys with Vercel and being able to see things really quickly, and the content preview with Contentful, and it's almost made our development Shopify store like moot. Like, we don't really use it for a lot of things now, and I think we can further deprecate the need for it, which be a cost savings and a time savings for us as well. But I think some of the other neat goals that we have on our list coming up that Nacelle is going to support is just we get tons of cool feature enhancement requests from our team and from our customers that we couldn't support before, or that were going to take way too much time to support in Liquid. That is going to be way easier to do, as well as like advanced automation, or progressive personalization for customers. Things that we were just a challenge to do before are made much more flexible. So I think flexibility is just kind of my key word for today.
Yeah. Well, and also flexibility in terms of, I mean, it's a unique marriage. I tend to think between Nacelle and Shopify, because you're having your cake and eat it too with the Enso build, right? You're still using the parts about Shopify that make it a superb platform. Any comments on that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Nacelle, I mean, you guys brought to the table all your pre-built integrations for all, I mean, the majority of the apps that we used, and where we didn't have an integration in place, you guys helped us get one. And so we were able to keep pretty much everything that we really wanted. And it was really a conversation of, you know, what's the next step forward rather than, you know, how do we make this work? It was like, like you said, you know, we got our cake and we got to do what we wanted with it. So it was the best of both worlds for sure. You know, Shopify is really good at what it does, and what it's geared for on the management side. But you know, Nacelle brings that really awesome consumer aspect to it.